It's Roxana Mehran, and here we are at the ESC Congress, ESC 2022, and at ESC TV, speaking on conversations with two leading women in cardiology. I have with me my guests, Professor Poppas from Brown University and Professor Casadei from Oxford. Hello. So nice to have you guys and for us to have a conversation. And since it's just conversation, I'm going to call you Athena and you Barbara and me. I'm Roxana, Rox, whatever you want.
Perfect.
So good to have you all. So the conversation today is about women in leadership. How far have we come? Both of you are previous presidents, almost immediate past presidents of the American College of Cardiology. You were just president a couple of years ago during the pandemic. And you too, Barbara.
Yes.
2 years of presidency here at the ESC. A lot has changed. You had a lot of impact. Thanks for all that you have done for women. But where are we today in cardiology? Both of you.
I think we've made a lot of progress, but I think a lot of it was very intentional. So I think there was a recognition that we were behind in cardiology. It was crazy that half of the people in medical school were women, but only 10–15% were going into cardiology. So I think all different areas really took a hard look, tried to get more women interested, tried to look at what the barriers were, and then moved through up the leadership chain. So teaching women what they can do, supporting women. So I think we've made a lot of progress.
What do you think, Barbara?
Yes, we've made a lot of progress, but not enough. I would say that if you walk around here, you can see the difference compared with 5 or 10 years ago even, where you didn't see women at all. But I still see a lot of female young investigators winning prizes, doing really well, and very few carrying it all the way to the top. And so I think that we need to populate the environment of cardiology with more women at every stage, not just the junior stage, and support women to achieve positions.
Yeah, I so agree with that, with what you just said, that I'm seeing, and now you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing almost like a floodgates of fantastic women that are now coming into cardiology. So thanks for all that you have done, and we're all working on this. And then even in the mid-career, we're seeing them being lifted, evaluated, and also, but on the top, that very top layer, it's still a struggle to get there. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think, I agree with Barbara completely. We've made a lot of progress, but the work's not done. I mean, diversity, besides gender, there's a lot of work we have to keep doing. And it has to be intentional. So getting more women to be included in cardiology, encouraging throughout their career, because it's not easy for men or women throughout their career to continue to stay and advance. So learning some of the tools are important, and then supporting them and encouraging women to apply for things. I think, and there's data, that women tend to hold back a little bit. Wait until they're absolutely perfect to apply for something. Throw your hat in the ring. I think that it's up to us all, collectively, men and women, to continue to encourage women to apply for the next step, to move on and get that next grant, to get the training they need so that they can become full professors. So yes, we've made good progress, but you can't jump from A to Z, and we need to support them throughout. What did you say? Pull them up the ladder.
Yeah.
Pull them up the ladder,
yes.
Yeah, definitely. I see a lot of great networking of our male colleagues. I'm wondering, are we doing as good a job in terms of women networking together? Or are we just too busy? Are we getting so busy? I mean, I can tell you, the idea of the average situation is something that I'm thinking about all the time.
Yeah.
For me, it was, we could never be we need to always strive for above the average place to be. How do we change that mental breakdown.
I have two keywords.
Yeah.
You know, the quest of the average woman, in terms of not always looking at someone who has to be exceptional, in order to make it. That's certainly one thing. And the other one is the quest for the good enough. That doesn't have to be perfect. It's good enough. And from that good enough, then one acquires a certain, frees oneself from that idea that if not absolutely perfect, if I'm not absolutely competent, I would never go for it. I mean, if I had to look back and say, what would you do differently? I would say I would be more assertive. There is a certain tendency to accept the place in the pecking order that you are placed by your older colleagues, when you are in training. I am here and these other people are above me, so my job will not come, my advice to women is do not accept that position. That position, the fact that someone puts you there doesn't mean that you are there. Do not accept it. And I have been, I feel, too accepting in my younger age. And so, and of course, the whole environment is getting you to accept it. And, know your place. Know your place is something that they tell women all the time, since you are a child.
But what do you think when we're assertive, we're thought there's a negative connotation about an assertive woman? Have you seen that? I mean, I've definitely experienced it because I can tell you from my own experience, I've been very assertive on several fronts, and I've worked really hard to really be bold to say, well, this is wrong, this is what I deserve, etc. But it's not really worked all the time. So I'm not so sure. And maybe for myself, for myself would be to be less assertive and maybe more passive and think more about my own self, right?
Well, and it's not just in medicine, right? That there's this issue around, what stereotypes there are around gender, whether male or female. Does a male have to be assertive? Does he get caged in by that as well for being meek or quiet? So I think having some awareness is important. There's no harm in being assertive. And there's a way to do that whether you're a man or a woman, and ask for the things you want, but to ask for those, to say, here's the reasons, and to go up and ask, to not wait to be asked. And I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Is if you look back, you shouldn't have to wait for somebody to say, I want to promote you.
Yeah.
You should say, I think I'm ready to be promoted. And that's okay. And it's okay that you didn't get it every time. So it's okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, it is. It's okay to ask, and next time you'll get it.
Yeah. No, that's really a good. That's a very positive thinking. Well, I was thinking about asking you guys. I mean, what about where we're going in the future? Are you right about the future? Do you feel like it's all going to be normal? Before we sat down for this conversation, you said, why do we have to talk about women at the helm? Isn't that a normal thing? And when are we going to get to that place, Barbara?
I wish I knew. Yeah, I am not sure. Depends. Some days I wake up and I feel very positive. Some other day I feel there are still mountains to climb. But that I will then link to the other thing that to me is essential to this progress, and that is to have our male colleagues with us, and really understanding and trying to elevate over the stereotypes, but which is normal to have female colleagues that want to have a career, that want to have, that is ambitious, is not a negative connotation. So I think bringing up the new generation together, every single sex situation has the potential of being limiting and toxic. So to actually bringing men and women together in this quest, I think is essential.
So your feeling is, and I know that you're feeling the same thing, that we got to work together. We should network together, not that men should be networking and women should be networking. It should be a co-networking together.
Yes.
Because I think we all want a richer, deeper cardiology or society, not to make this bigger than it is. So gender, race, religion, we know that we have better boards, we have better groups when we are more diverse in thought and we bring different things to the helm. So it's incumbent upon all of us to reach out and really embrace that. And so it's a sense of, I think, it's diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging.
Yes.
So just being invited to the party isn't quite enough, right?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
And when we think about the future, we don't want to just check the box. Isn't it great there was a woman president of ESC? It would be great in 10 years that we're not even saying a woman president. It's just a president. Yeah. Or we just had a South Asian president. So should it matter, let's get rid of the beginning piece. We need the focus so that we have some awareness, but I would love for in 10 years that the conversation's in the back of our mind.
Yeah, we want that, but except that if we don't pay attention to it now, it will go back to where it was before, where it was 10, 15 years of just men leading. And it's not anything against them. By the way, I do want to ask you, I mean, I'm hearing a lot about the canceled culture of our white males who are feeling, well, I'm never going to get this position because I'm not a woman and I'm not a person of color. How do you answer that?
Barbara's got the best
Barbara,
answer, so she gets
how do you
to lead.
answer that, Barbara?
Well, I always have a quote that I use for this kind of comment, and that is that if you are accustomed to privilege, then equality feels like oppression. So it is normal. I mean, I have been recently in a situation where there was a complete women-only medical environment, and I was there as a patient, and immediately you start a completely different relationship. You feel the warmth of the privilege of being, and you think, I can see why they get hooked into this. It is human. Once you have your very cozy environment, you don't want to leave it, and even a little interference, it feels like, it was so much better before. But I think we need to get over
passing down privilege, right?
Yes, exactly.
And not feeling oppressed just because there's equality. I love that. I love that. Well, I think the future is bright.
Yeah. What do you think?
So I really do. I can't wait for the day that we don't use female, male, man, woman, cardiologist, that we're just all in it together. I look for that day, especially on the leadership side. We're not there yet.
I'm going to ask you a question. What sorts of things do we need to do, thinking of the future? I think we've made progress. What tools do we need to do collectively to help us get there?
I think, as you said, I think the word that I love, there are a lot of words you guys use that I love, but intentional is the really important message here. Because if we're not intentional, it will just be something that we just take for granted and it will go away. It's just like anything else. So I think in the next decade, we need to continue the intention of reaching equality and then not feeling oppressed by equality. I love that. I love that. I'm just going to use it all the time, Barbara. And then I'm going to sound so smart like Barbara Casadei. But it really is a fantastic quote, that we are not oppressed if we are equal. We are promoted, we are feeling better, we're grander, we're bigger. We learn from each other and we have much, much more to offer. So I think that's what we have to do for the future. And I know that there are a lot of tools out there, and I think, coming to a meeting like this, seeing you all here, you all look great, by the way, and hopefully finding us on the beach, relaxing and caring for oneself.
True. And
not feeling oppressed if we're averaged as well. I mean, it's okay, the quest to be, it's okay that we're not everything to everyone.
Exactly.
All these things it just gives me a little bit of a relief. The stress buttons go down for women. We have to be less stressed. I think that's a big
lower
thing.
the bar down,
Yeah.
for the average performance and the good enough, so that we are not just I have had people, fellows that looked at me and say, "Oh, I don't want to be like you. You work too hard." Yeah, and so that is not a good model. We need to show that this can be done in an attractive way for younger generations that have different ideas on how they want to live their lives. So I think it is very important not to project all of this stress and angst about our position in our workplace.
Well, I feel so much less stressed now after this lovely conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you guys. I hope to see you more at this Congress and then more at all of the new Congresses. It just feels so vibrant here. The energy is fantastic and very, very enticing to just go to every single session. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Rox.
Thank you,
This is
Roxana.
great.
And thank you
very
all for watching us. Keep watching ESC TV.